Hey everybody, and welcome to my second Darktide under 5 build guide video. Today we're going to be going over the Zealot crit bleed build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I've only posted a couple videos on the channel, and I'm really pleased with how many subscribers we got. Super thankful, guys. Anyways, we're going to jump into it. We're starting off with the combat blade. There are two combat blades in the game. I like this one the most now. There's one that got added with the year 1 release, the new variant. I think this one's attack pattern is better. So the most important stats are damage, finesse, and first target. You need those, and mobility is a major quality of life perk. Penetration is more of a dump stat. It is important, but we're not doing as much penetration damage with this build. It's not really the entire idea. Then for our perk, we're going to be stacking crit chance like a mother trucker on this build. So we're going to take plus 10% crit hit damage, which is fantastic. You don't actually need to take plus 5% crit hit chance because we already have a crazy crit hit chance, so I take that as a plus damage stat to something else. I personally have it on armored enemies. It's stuck on my build. I can't get rid of it. But taking unarmored, flak armored, or maniac damage would be great in this slot, whichever you prefer. And then you come to your blessings. Flesh Terror is a main one, and Lacerate is a main one. You really have to take both of them for this build. There's not any really playroom in here. This is the bleed build, so you have to have the bleed blessings. So you really want Flesh Terror 3, I have Flesh Terror 2. It's not a huge difference. You're going to notice that it still bleeds everything out, and it does a ton of damage on a crit hit. And then plus 3 bleed on a non-weak spot hit. So you're flying in and doing a body crit shot with your Zealot F, and you're going to actually do a ton of damage, and they're going to bleed out. For your secondary weapon, I use the Bolter. You could also use a revolver like this that has Maniac and Carapace armor damage, and you need high damage and high penetration, high crit bonus on your revolver. With Hand Cannon is the main blessing, and then use either a plus damage, plus power, or plus crit chance blessing on your other one. It's really up to you, whatever your gun comes with. I wouldn't worry about it too much. And then for me personally, I use the Bolter with a Cavalcade and Shattering Impact. Shattering Impact is the necessary blessing. On the other blessing, I use Cavalcade, but you could also use Pinning Fire. Either one of those will work. I like them both. And then for perks, we have Unyielding Damage and Carapace Armored. For the Bolter as well, you know, the highest damage modifier is nice. Higher reload speed is nice, but really the only main important one is damage. I'm not sure if collateral really factors in anything that well. In this game, it might be kind of broken. But for Unyielding Damage and Carapace Armor damage is what you want on the perks. Maybe Maniac if you struggle with Maniacs for some reason. When it comes to Curios, you want a Stamina Curio, and the other two are kind of up to you. I have plus 1 wound because it helps keep you alive for longer in the game if you're dying or something. But if you're a Giga Chad and you don't need plus 1 wound, you can take a Toughness or a Health Curio. I definitely take at least one Health Curio. I would take probably another Health Curio if I wasn't running a wound, but you could take a Toughness also. Doesn't really matter. And then you have your plus 3 Stamina. And on your Stamina, on your Curios, I would take plus Gunner Resistance on all of them, and then plus 5% max health on all of them if possible, and then plus combat ability regeneration on all of them. That would be my perfect curio on all three, would be my perks on all my curios. So now we will go ahead and hop into the talents because we've got less than 2 minutes to get through them. We have our classic Zealot tanky crit boy over here. We have Dax stack damage, great. Melee crits apply bleed, that's great because we want to crit and bleed things. We have more toughness, great, and toughness damage reduction on crit because we're chunking out crits on this build. An average build on Darktide in a game will hit out 300 to 500 crits per game on just any character on any build. This build can easily hit over 2,000 crits in one game. I have tracked it myself and know that to be true. We go through this middle path here. The main ones that we want to take from here are this 20% increased damage to unyielding enemies. And at the end of this video, you'll see, actually, you can come up here and grab Disdain. If you want to 3-up something else on the skill tree, we're kind of tight on points, but you could add in Disdain somewhere if you'd like as well. We have Toughness. Restoring damage on taking damage is nice. This one's not very applicable because we aren't actually doing very much range killing. We're only whipping out the bolter when we really need it. Immolation Grenade is the best because the knife is kind of the meme. The stun storm grenade is good, but you have to come through this whole tree that we don't really need anything for, and this gives you a lot of breathing room, and it just does a ton of damage that's on the ground forever. So you have plus toughness, we have melee damage, movement speed, great. We don't need to take desperation because you're never running out of stamina on this build. Then we have Duelist, does more crit and weak spot damage, so on a successful dodge, and you're dodging a ton on this build when you're flying in with your crit, guaranteed crit, and doing a lot of damage, so this is really good to have. Let's see. Benediction, toughness damage reduction, great. 15 toughness, great. Fury of the Faithful, you're flying in with your guaranteed crit. You get plus 20% attack speed is huge. You get the guaranteed crit that does plus 25% damage. You're flying in on high value target, probably gunners in the background, backline, getting them out of gunning and into melee, and you can go to town dodging around and bleeding them all out with your bleed build. Then you get down here, you get suppression because we can't take anything else. And then you come down into the crit build tree. If you find you get hit a lot, you can take Master's Retribution. I prefer to take this Invocation of Death because this is more of a crutch, in my opinion. You can, if you play better, you don't need to use this perk. And this perk actually lets you have your F up more, which I find to be really useful. So I always try to push myself to play better instead of using a crutch perk. And then you just have your standard Blazing Piety that just gives you increased crit chance. Then we come over here. You want this 10% melee attack speed because more attack speed is fantastic. You could potentially free up this attack speed because the knife is already really fast and take Disdain instead. And what's very important though is the Sustained Assault, and you get more melee damage and more toughness reduction on the way there. Sustained Assault is going to let you do some more damage consistently on one target. So there you guys have it. We're a little over 5 minutes on this one, but it's a complicated build for running bleed. There's a lot of details to it. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you had a great day, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.